makes most women start a business? Is it passion, money, or freedom? Welcome to Female Founders, the podcast that takes you behind the scene with women who are founders and CEOs to help you start and scale a successful business of your own. I am your host, Naghilia Desravines. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Female Founders. In this episode, we are going to have a conversation with Madeleine Park, the founder of a 501c3 nonprofit organization named Together She Can. She is also the director of marketing at Netsertive. Madeleine Park is a marketing and branding professional who works with franchise and consumer businesses to help build a brand, increase awareness, drive sales, and expand globally. Hi Madeleine, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. You are doing amazing work and I'm humbled to meet you. It's like the things that you are doing, it's just, you don't meet people every day that do things like that. So you are all in marketing, branding, and also founded a 501c3 nonprofit organization, Together She Can. What is your backstory? How did you get started into marketing, branding, digital marketing actually, into a nonprofit organization? What's the backstory behind it all?
Yeah, so started off, very similar to, I'm sure, a lot of people's stories. Went to college, actually played basketball there. Played a little bit after college, and instead of do I go professional overseas or do I join the workforce, I said, you know what, I think I need to make some money now. So I started off at a marketing firm as the executive assistant, filling coffee and doing errands, and thankfully I was part of a really great company that was all about kind of mentoring and stuff like that. During the same time, I was also coaching youth basketball a lot. And through, different networking, I actually was reached out to from a company called Made Pro, which is now Threshold Brands. They are an umbrella franchisor of 8 different home service franchises. So I did their franchise marketing for a while, helped with consumer, and really learned the ropes in terms of what it takes to be successful in marketing from not only, a very pinpointed consumer standpoint, but also from, the franchise side of selling larger investment business opportunities. So really got my feet wet there, was there for about 8 years. Also met my current husband. We own about 15 different franchise locations. So we own across 3 different brands in the Philly area. So then started to, understand, okay, how does marketing work on the local level? During this time, I was traveling a whole lot. And of course, you always get those, toiletries on the go. I was just, stacking them in my house, and I was like, well, I don't want to throw them out, but what can I do with these? So I started to package them up and hand them out to homeless people that I saw on the streets, because I was at the time working in Boston and, seeing them every single day. And I certainly couldn't afford to give them money or cash. So I started doing this, and it was received very well. I know it can be a little bit difficult when you're dealing with people that have fallen on homelessness. But because it was received so well, my friends started getting involved, and they wanted to carry some in their bags. And then before I knew it, people were donating money, and people were donating, all of their toiletries. So what started out as a closet clean out became like I was now housing everyone's toiletries. But so I, had to go through the process and become an official 501c3. From there, what's really great about the nonprofit space is that everyone has such a great respect for it. And because we fell into such a great niche, which was, we're not needing large overhead, for anything. So we're really just saying, hey, give us what you don't need, and we'll do the operational point to get it to people who need it. So, that people really, resonate with that and like that. And from there, we develop partnerships with Bombas, Warby Parker, Sephora, And they all kind of developed their own programs so that we could provide homeless shelters, primarily women, but it started to evolve into both male and female opportunities for them to feel like themselves again. I think that there is so much stigma around homelessness and, well, I don't want to give them money because they're going to use it for drugs, or, this is their own fault, or it's mental health, with basic human necessities such as soap and shampoo. Like everyone needs that. Everyone needs that to feel like human again. When we did work with Sephora in downtown Boston, they actually were opening up stores and malls early for us because they don't allow homeless people in because it affects the look of the shop. So there's a lot of things you don't realize that also fall on homelessness. So we were able to develop partnerships around that. Helping people to get back on their feet. We would bring in, resume people. We'd bring in, beauticians. Anything we could do to just kind of help our community out. So that's kind of how Together She Can started. And so with my background in now business and primarily marketing, of course, we branded it all up, and it's really taken off. And I think to date, we've gifted somewhere between 15 and 20,000 hygiene gift bags, and we've got partnerships in all sorts of different states, and just opened our second location. So it's going really well, and I'm grateful for all of the support we've been able to have to make such an impact for people who need it.
Oh my goodness, this is amazing, Madeline. It's
Thank you.
imagine that you actually decided, let me just throw those away because we don't need them. Let's just throw them away. Some people will think like that. If you didn't take that step to say, let me give it away instead of just throwing it away, so you wouldn't have the non-profit. You see, things just happen in this world for a big reason. It's awesome. So, what motivates you to become a marketing and branding professional?
It's funny because I'm very bad at math. I could talk all day, but if you give me a spreadsheet, I will internally combust. So when I was deciding, I'm going into college, I'm in college, my whole life is about sports. I'm not thinking about, what I'm going to make my living off of. My dad and I actually sat down with an entire list of all of the majors there is offered. He started at one end with a Sharpie. I started at the other, and we just started crossing stuff off that didn't make sense. My dad's like, "You're not good at numbers, so accounting, no." I was like, "Ooh, I don't really like blood, so anything in the medical, no." And we actually ended up with the marketing communications, and it worked out really well because I do love kind of the light business side of it, talking acquisitions, mergers, on the kind of the top funnel, but also really enjoy being creative. So that was a good mix of both, and it's worked out well.
That is awesome. I like that. You just gotta like score there. No, next, next.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. So, what role does Madeline Park in marketing PR perform to boost your clients' businesses?
Yeah, so it's fun because I've always held kind of a corporate job and then built my own digital marketing firm as well. So after my franchise brand days, I'm still a franchise owner. I'm now with an ad agency, and they do advertisements and digital marketing for franchises. What I noticed on top of that is in my local area, whether it was my local dentist or we've got a couple local celebrities, always asking me for marketing advice or some consulting. So what I did is I opened up a small shop to help local businesses, because I think at the core of who I am, it's just about, I can't be my best self unless I'm helping someone else. And the best way I can do that, in my own skill set is, marketing, whether it's their personal marketing or their business marketing. So same thing with Together She Can. So, as I grow my education and my network with my corporate job, I'm learning tips and tricks along the way that are also having a trickle down effect to my more local community, and also some smaller brands here or there. So that's kind of how that was created. And now it's just kind of like a marketing wheel. I never know what the day is going to fall, what hat I have to put on. Sometimes I'm in an incorrect Zoom link, but I guess that comes with the territory.
So who do you serve?
Yeah, so Netsertive, which is the company I work with now, they serve franchise brands. So
Okay.
any major franchise brand, we do their digital marketing, their PPC, their SEO, their Facebook, their CTV. Very heavy on the technical side. Obviously, for Together She Can, that is homeless communities. And then for my digital marketing firm called MPMP, we primarily are working with either a very local businesses such as dentists or some schools, some daycares, but an also big portion of the business is marketing consulting for newer franchise brands. So maybe you have a local business and you realized, okay, now I have 5 locations. I think I want a franchise. I need to talk to someone because I don't know what that entails. Or maybe you started a franchise, you went into your role, you're not really sure about franchising. So they come to me to kind of lead the way in terms of, I've user tested a lot of solutions. So I've kind of got the framework for, what's going to build a great brand. So that's kind of who all of my markets serve at this point.
You are a very busy woman, I have to say.
Very, very busy. I have 2 toddlers, I have 2 dogs. It's just,
That's
it's a crazy life.
even a lot busier than I thought.
Which they may barge in at any point. So,
Oh,
hopefully not. We'll see.
hey, it's okay. We cannot say anything actually because my son used to do the same thing too. He'll just pop up and say, "Why did you pop up?" He said, "I wanted to see who you are
Yep.
talking to." I'm like,
Yep.
really?
Yep. I'm like, that's what you needed. Okay.
Oh, that's so funny. So, do you have any plan to leave corporate, or you think that you're just gonna stay there and then keep both businesses?
I've toyed with this for a while, and working in the franchise space, you work with a lot of people who open up their own franchise because they want to get out of the corporate world. They need more work-life balance. Maybe they want to start a family business to pass down to their kids. Um, I have been very, very lucky to work in a corporate space that is similar to kind of, Google, Apple. It's very much not butts in seats. It's if you get your work done, good for you. You need the day off, no problem. When my franchise brand, Threshold Brands, was bought out by private equity, it did become more corporate than I am accustomed to, and not necessarily in a bad way, but everything is paperwork and sign offs and not a lot less flexibility in terms of not only the work life balance, but the ability to really feel like I was making a difference day to day as you would in more of a startup. So that's kind of when I jumped to the corporate job I'm at now, because while it's still corporate, it's very much kind of startup hustle feel. And, as long as I feel like I have a very good um, respect and balance with the people I'm working with, I think corporate is great for me. Like most people, I really like the stability of the benefits and the salary, and this is your core. And especially if you're working with a great company that supports your growing and your different endeavors, I think that's corporate is not necessarily a bad thing. Now, I'm sure other people have different, if they're in different fields or different companies, might have a different take on that, but I'm certainly comfortable in corporate for now.
But do you think that later on you'll be able to handle all three of them at once?
It's funny. So my husband manages the majority of the day to day and all of the franchise operations. I of course do the marketing. Um, it's very scary to think that when you take away that corporate backing, that I am the end all be all for not only the clients I work with, but if something were to fail, what is my backup? So I think that there is a possibility that could happen, in the long term. But I think if that did happen, I would probably end up starting or doing or buying something as that backup. So as long as the nonprofit's doing well, I'm probably always going to be in 3 or 4 different hats at once, just because I can't help myself.
Oh, that's so cool. So you are a savvy marketer and with incredible visual eye. So how do you help your clients achieve their goals?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing here, and I could go on for hours about the different tactics it takes, but a lot of times when it comes to whether it's a huge business or, you've got one client and you just came up with a great name, is a lot of times they're too close to their product or service, they're too close to their brand. They are trying to advertise how great they are instead of the value prop that they're going to bring to consumers. So I coach a lot on, look, of course you're great. You have this incredible brand promise, and whatever your value prop is, whether it's a better product or a unique service, what does that give your target market? So, for instance, there's a franchise concept out there, and they were trying to send emails and create creative about how great they are. And, we're an incredible brand, we're reputable, we've won these awards. And they weren't really getting the engagement they thought. And I said, look, no one cares how great you guys think you are. They want to know what they're getting out of it. So we switched the messaging to, when you join a family type brand, you're getting security, you're getting support. So really helping shape marketing and branding, whether it's a campaign or an entire brand trying to learn how to talk about themselves and talk to their clients, what their target market is going to get from them, and really, framing it in a more psychological way that way. Because once you're able to, resonate with the consumer, it's much easier to create a marketing campaign. So for instance, I was on the team that created a mosquito and tick company. And while we were doing that kind of brand promise, instead of saying, oh, we're going to do all of this technicalities and it's going to be great and our logo's awesome, I said, well, why do people want a mosquito and tick service? Because they hate getting bit. They're scared of, any disease they can get. They don't want to see a big price tag up front. So, realizing, okay, this is what your clients want, and then shaping your marketing around that.
So if I understand correctly, you focus on the why.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I
That makes
focus on the why. And while I can do, a lot of the creative assets, I tell my team and a lot of people I work with, I am better at shooting the shit and talking it through with you, and then we'll let the actual experts build out the creative and execute on the numbers. But yeah, really getting to that why on both sides. Why are you in this company? Why are you working for this company? And why should anyone use you? There's so many options out there that you really have to get it right from the start.
exactly. So people have to be able to connect with your why.
Exactly.
Okay. You offer customized digital marketing program. Tell us something about it.
Yeah, so Netsertive, the ad agency I'm with, they offer fully customized digital marketing for each of their franchise clients. So what's really great is, and I'm getting a little technical at this point, but whether it is CTV campaigns on YouTube, whether you've seen those ads before you click on something on YouTube, you're seeing the ads on Hulu or Amazon, and then anything from Google, like restaurants near me, all of that. Every time you see an ad, for the most part, that company is doing it manually. There is someone on the back end that's targeting your exact location, your demographic, and having to do that manually. And when you have a business that has multiple locations, that is a huge lift. So what Netsertive has done is they built a technology that automates all of that manual labor for you, and then instead utilizes its personnel to coach on the results. So while it seems like, well, obviously it's done, that's kind of like a dishwasher. Why wouldn't you use a person to put it away instead of doing the whole thing? But now, we've got there. So that's what they do. And because the tech does the majority of the heavy lifting, we're able to customize not only per brand, per industry, but per location. So, for instance, we have a client that has 140 locations. Not only does that brand get a unique marketing strategy, but every single one of their locations has a customized strategy fit to their exact location, because as I'm sure you know, something that works in Florida isn't necessarily going to work in Washington. So, that's important. And then on my digital marketing side, of course, the big thing about being a boutique kind of consulting firm is that I'm talking to you one-on-one and getting exactly what you need and creating a strategy for your exact local area. So very similar to what Netsertive does, but I'm more on kind of the grassroots side of things. Like I said, more local businesses, daycares, stuff like that. And Netsertive is on, that grander scale of the franchise space.
I'm going to ask you a very silly question because a lot of time I think that every small businesses know these things, but they actually don't. So why do you think that digital marketing is it's important for small businesses?
I'm glad you asked because I think that this is something that they'll probably have to put on my gravestone. But as much as people, when times are tough, like through COVID, a lot of people cut their marketing spend because it's not crucial to their day to day operations. But it really shouldn't be viewed that way because if you're not growing, you're shrinking. And in this day and age, you also have to do digital marketing for your employees. As I'm sure you realize, there's an employee shortage everywhere. So if you're not constantly marketing in some aspect, whether it's for employees or consumers, your business is going to be stagnant. And when you layer on top of the fact that all of your competitors are digital marketing, you're just going to keep getting buried. So one, you have to pay to play these days. That's just how the game goes. And what I like, the metaphor that seems to resonate with a lot of small business owners is, I have a couple of them, but my top two are, you have to treat your marketing like you would an employee. Okay. You're not going to hire a new employee and say, here's your uniform, go, and expect them to succeed. It's the same thing with marketing. You can't just, put $100 into Google and say go and expect it to succeed. Same thing as if you don't give the employee the uniform and you say go succeed. Of course they're not. No one's going to let them in the house. And the same thing with marketing. Your business isn't going to succeed if you have no one, working for you. So, to that extent, I say, look, if your business was a toy and you put a toy in Toys R Us or Target and you said, okay, I have a great toy and I put it in the toy section and you told no one about it, the chances of that selling are probably pretty low. You're right. Same thing. Book in a bookstore. If you put that book in a bookstore and then you put up posters, you tell your friends about it, you send out emails about it, you do a book reading, chances are sales are going to go through the roof because you're driving demand and you're driving interest. If you do not do that in any extent for your business, no one will find you and no one will buy from you. So, and in today's world, not only is it digital, but now it's digital word of mouth with reviews and neighborhood groups and mom groups. Um, your best bet is to get customers and then relate to, their network, whether it's a lookalike network or what have you. So, you still have to reach your core market, even if it is on a minimal scale, you need to reach your core market and continue on from there if you want any chance of success in this kind of 21st century marketing world.
Absolutely. You are completely right about that. So a lot of people they say that I don't pay for this. I don't pay. I hear that a lot from women that's own small businesses. I don't pay for this. I don't do this. It's like, well, if you don't pay for it, how are you gonna get anything? So you're just gonna
Yeah.
keep going nowhere. Whatever you're doing, it's not gonna work because people need to know you exist, and for people to know you exist, you gotta share it with the world, and you cannot expect everyone to do everything for you for free because they also have a business to take care of.
Exactly. And you hit it right on the head is a lot of people will say, I'm not paying for that. I'm like, well, there is a level of you have to invest in yourself if you want other people to invest as well. So part of getting people to buy your product or service is buying it yourself. Um,
Hmm.
so, that's and I also say, digital marketing, it is rocket science. I can't stand when people try to simplify it so much that it makes business owners feel dumb for not doing it because it is so complex. So there's nothing wrong with just saying, I'm not doing it because I don't want to waste money doing something that's wrong. So, there is a difference between people who don't believe in marketing, and if they don't believe in marketing, I would encourage them to say, well, take a look at your back end, look at your books, and let me see your growth over time. And can we prove that marketing really doesn't work for you or that you don't need it? Or is it something where, I'm just scared to invest in something that might not be right for me. And if that's the case, I would say reach out to your network. There's a million marketers like me out there, and you can invest as little as $1 a day direct to your business and grow. Marketing doesn't have to be this thousands of dollars spend for it to be considered marketing, plan.
Well, again, if you don't know what it is, you don't know how to do it. And I think the
Right.
best thing is to reach out to someone like yourself that knows how it works, that knows every single part of it, that can guide you and teach you. But don't just say that I'm not going to spend money on it because I don't need it. If you are in business,
Exactly.
you need it. Period.
Exactly. My dog is barking. Sorry.
Oh, don't
The
worry
kids
about
are
it.
home.
It's like I want to be in that interview too. I have something to say about digital marketing.
He sits in all my calls, so I'm like, if dogs could talk, he might actually be a good associate.
Absolutely. So, what are the greatest challenges in franchise marketing?
I think the greatest challenges in franchise marketing, which I am single-handedly, well, with my team, really trying to fix, is that franchising is a pretty old school business. It's been around, the model has been around forever, but in reality, not much has changed when it comes to how to grow your franchise business on the development side, meaning for Taco Bell, selling the concept so other people can open a Taco Bell, not selling tacos, but selling a Taco Bell location. And, with all of the different touch points to reach people, it's very easy to have consumer confusion between, wait, are you selling the tacos themselves? Are you selling a job position in a Taco Bell, or are you selling the rights to own a Taco Bell? So that's one of the biggest challenges there in franchise marketing, is really getting the messaging right to make sure whatever you are spending money on in the marketing vertical, it's reaching the right audience. And then I would say too is brands just don't talk to one another. There is this kind of, I can't call it my competitor and ask what they're doing, but there is so much consumerism to go around. And in the franchise space, we always call it a franchise family, because all of the franchises, it's so unique that we do have the same struggles. And, if a concept such as, I own a home cleaning concept, that might not be right for someone. I could refer them over to a different sort of industry, maybe it's retail. So we are sharing leads and information back and forth. So trying to bridge that gap between brands and really getting on the same page of what's working, who are the best vendors, what are the best way to reach people these days. Those are some of the biggest challenges, but we're working hard to overcome them, whether it's through a podcast or through meetups now that we can go out and meet people again. So, kind of doing that. But again, franchising is very much at the heart of helping people. We want you guys to, everyone's an entrepreneur in their own right. So whether it's you just want to get home to make all your kids' soccer games, or you are just sick of having a boss, franchising is there to help support those goals. So at the end of the day, really hoping to connect as many people as possible, because I think, the more hands in the pot, the bigger the pot will get.
Exactly. And I would think too, franchise would be a bit more easier to deal. I mean, like to take on the fact that it's already been established, right? So you don't have to deal with
Exactly.
trying to come up with all the ideas and everything to establish it. It's already there for you. All you have to do is build into that.
Exactly. And, a lot of people see franchising and they think, oh, I don't have the money to open a McDonald's. Yeah, me either. To buy a McDonald's is like, millions of dollars, but there are concepts that you can open for as little as $10,000, and there's all these financing options, and it really is a business in a box, because it's your business. It's locally owned and operated, but you also have the entire support of coaches, vendors, team members, your franchise community, and the the structure of your business, that all you need to do is literally follow like a to-do list, and your business will succeed. To me, that is a no-brainer. A lot of people see the upfront investments and think, well, I'm not spending $20,000, $30,000 to start a business. But in reality, if you start an independent, you're going to end up investing that anyways, just to compete with a bigger name. So for me, franchising is a no-brainer. I know it's not for everyone, but I would challenge anyone on that says it's not for them.
I think that for me personally, I think that it's a great idea, especially if you the type of person that don't have a lot of money to waste. Because when you start your own business, you don't know if it's gonna work or not. You know, it's your idea. You're trying to put it
Exactly.
together. You don't know what's gonna happen. But with the franchise, it's like it's come with everything. Imagine that. Imagine you starting a business. The coach you are gonna spend $4,000-5,000 a month with it. You don't have to spend that because you already have it.
Exactly.
For
It's
me, it's a
very much,
saving.
yes, it's very less risky. And also, you're probably not going to encounter a situation that they haven't already dealt with. I mean, when I was at Made Pro, which was, a home cleaning brand nationwide, we dealt from anything from, employees walking into like CSI scenes to like, hey, I just went into this house and they told me to clean the bathroom, but there's literally turtles living in the tub. So like anything under the sun, they've probably already seen it, and they're like, okay, here's XYZ, here's what you can do. And through the pandemic, we had bi-weekly calls, Tuesday, Thursday. There was 400 people on the calls, and we were talking about how to get through this pandemic together. And that just, that kind of community just proves how valuable a franchise system can be when you have big money resources for your small local business that you're not necessarily paying for. It's just a benefit of being part of a franchise.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's a great fit for people that's trying to, even if you're not like a business, you don't have that business mindset. You are not born into business. It's something you just started out. I think franchise is a good way to start because it will help you build faster than normal.
Exactly.
So we all need a little help along the journey, you know? But who have been some
Yeah.
of your mentors?
I've been super grateful to not only my parents, who were both, very well spoken, business, educated, but also very kind. And they taught me from an early age, while we are going to grind you to get good grades, I'd also rather you be known as the good kid, the kid that teachers want to have in class, the kid that gets invited to the parties, and if someone's being bullied, will leave the party, just being a good person. So, kind of coming up with that upbringing, I was able to meet and talk to a lot of people on the way. And, the I would say the biggest part is if you're working for or with people, you have to realize that, especially in American standards, you're spending the majority of your, let's say, life with these people you work with, sometimes more than the family or friends that you have. So you want to make sure that they too are good people. So along the way, I have been blessed with some really great bosses. We had the CEO of Made Pro, it was Mark Kaczynski and Richard Sparaccio. People that want you to succeed, not only for their business, but for you, who you are as a as a person. So I would say, honestly, every one of the people that I've reported to has had some influence along the way. And then also connecting with people anywhere you go. I mean, I've connected with people who I've stayed in touch with because I sat next to them on the plane and decided to say hi. To people who I've never met in person, but on LinkedIn, we are sharing tips and tricks back and forth. So, I'd say, well, an easy answer would be, my parents, my bosses, my best friend, my husband. I think you can get a little bit of mentorship from anyone you meet. You just got to say hi first, and also, ask the right questions.
Absolutely. When you were telling me the story of how you started together Chicken, and you did have the choice of actually not moving forward with it. You didn't have to create a 501c to spend money or do all these things. So what inspired you to actually move forward with it?
I've never been a status quo person, as I'm sure you can see already. And also, I am so type A. So everything's kind of on a to do list. So in my mind, especially as a very good marketing person, I am wanting to grow something. And I guess there was just never a question of, do I even want to do this? Because I saw how much it was helping people. I think the biggest challenge came from the legal standpoint and also kind of the imposter syndrome of like, can I own a 501c3? How the heck do I do this? I literally bought like how to start a 501c3 for dummies, like a print book. I was like, who buys print books anymore? I do, I guess. Um, and really, I guess it was just not being intimidated by taking that first step. There's tons of people that will help you along the way, and including, lawyers that help me out pro bono. And my tax guy was like, hey, I got you on this. No worries, you're helping other people. So um, well, I did get help along the way. I guess, yeah, for me, I didn't want to start something and put a lot of effort somewhere that I knew didn't have potential to grow. I think, your energy and your time is a very valuable resource. So, if I was going to help people, it was either I will just donate money to a cause near and dear to my heart, or I'm going to do it myself and we're going to help as many people as possible. And that's where we're at now.
I think you are doing a fantastic work. So, if I understand correctly, with Together She Can, you got the products, the donation, and then you take that, you give it to the homeless.
Yeah. So what we do is we take new or gently used, meaning, you get gifted like lotions and perfumes from your great aunt for Christmas, and you're like, please don't gift me that. This smells weird. I'm allergic to this, and so meaning you opened it, you didn't like it. So new and gently used hygiene beauty products. They all come to our warehouse where then our volunteers package it all up into gift bags. So a gift bag, for instance, would have a pair of socks, a shampoo, a conditioner, a razor, a soap, a hairbrush. So, Rudy, stop. So we do that, and then by the bag, we've found that it's actually easier to partner with homeless shelters and do recurring drop-offs for them. So we'll drop off, a couple hundred at a time to have them pass out to their residents and do that on a recurring basis.
Okay. So,
My dog.
I just want to talk.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. So, do you do? Is Together She Can? Is it nationally or is just in one state?
So it started off just in Boston, and then it grew to pretty much all of the North Shore, South Shore side of the state. We now opened our second location in the greater Philadelphia region. So while we have two primary locations that we serve, we accept donations from all over the country. So right now, because of COVID, we're still kind of in COVID protocol, so people can mail in their donations to our warehouse, from anywhere they want. Once we get the donation, we then will send them a donation receipt for their email, for their taxes, and then we will go through their items and then, like I said, bag them up and distribute them as such.
Okay. So you have been featured as Boston's Woman of the Week in 2017, and you have
Yeah.
spoken in so many different university and franchise firm across the United States. So how does it feel as a woman in business to actually create so much success in life?
I still, you know, it feels good. It feels good to be setting a great example for women of color. I am half Korean, half Irish, so being able to kind of break some molds there. Like I said, I've always worked for companies who believed in me, wanted me to succeed, and I know it's not like that in every industry. So anything I can do to help us women kind of break that glass ceiling, the better. I want to continue to push boundaries. I was at kind of an executive level in my 20s, and I often got a lot, well, you're so young, you don't know what you're talking about. And my friend and I, we started going by the names Baby Shark. And people would say, why do you call you guys yourselves baby sharks? Why you have a necklace with a little shark on it? And at the end of the day, it was because a baby shark is still an effing shark. It doesn't matter how old you are. If you are a badass, if you are smart, if you have the best idea in the room, it's the best idea in the room. So, kind of always having that confidence. And I just don't really take any shit. I mean, there's been times where I've sat in a room or I've been on a call and it's like, okay, you can go, let's let the big boys play. And I'm like, I'm not going anywhere, like, being able to have that confidence in myself and my peers of, going toe to toe with anyone. I really think, whether you have that confidence naturally or you have to fake it, it definitely helps, yourself grow because, I'm not about to bow down to anyone, which I'm sure a lot of women resonate with. And kind of what I always say is whether you're a diamond in the rough or you are just a diamond, baby, diamonds cut through glass. So continue, pushing that boundary and taking up space because I definitely feel that women deserve it.
Absolutely. I think that one thing you have most women done is the fact that you speak up. You stand up for yourself. It's like, can you get out of the womb so we can talk? Well, I am a part of the womb, so I'm staying right here. Talk.
I got the table. Let's talk.
Most women will just take the little notepad and just walk away, and it's okay. So speak up, and I think that's something that we need to do often. Just
And
speak.
I would say too, it's not always like, oh, she wants to stay. Like, we joke that Maddie lives in the gray area of HR where I'm always like kind of in trouble, but I never really broke a rule. So, it's okay to be in trouble. It's okay to push the boundaries. I tend to be more on the ask for forgiveness than permission side of things, but, there is a environment that comes with kind of pushing those boundaries and just know, it's okay. Nothing, what's that quote that like well-behaved women don't make history? Well, it's true. I'm not trying to go to jail, but I'm also trying to get a raise. So there's got to be a good in between.
Exactly. You're not trying to sit here forever and then getting paid this amount
Exactly.
of money.
Exactly.
So, what are your plans for the future?
That's a good question. I mean, I am such one of my biggest pieces of advice is always say yes to everything and then, try it out. If you don't like it, then, decide later. So, with that comes a lot of kind of short-term planning. So for now, I want to continue growing, as a marketer, as a person, and also for all of my clients on, the Netsertive side and also, my consulting business. I'd love to see everyone I work with exceed so well that they no longer need me. So, continuing to push the boundaries there for them. It would be great if my husband and I can open a couple more brands, maybe a couple more locations, help out not only employing our local communities, but also everyone with their home service needs. And then, for Together She Can, I would love to see it as an international nonprofit. I really need to start dedicating more time to finding people to really grow that. It's been my baby, and for COVID, we kind of were on pause for a little bit, but now with the world opening back up and people need help more than ever, I think it's a great opportunity to really take it to the next level. So, hopefully, I would love to see it be, a household name nonprofit, but that would be, for the long term.
Absolutely. I think that's a great dream. And with your attitude, I have no doubt. Not even
Well,
1%.
my family might beg to differ because while Together She Can could be a household name, they're all like, "Where's my laundry?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it is. I don't know."
So, what is your advice for to young entrepreneurs, especially women?
One is, say yes and push those boundaries. You're going to get invited to, a networking event, a cocktail hour. One of your bosses is going to say, "Oh, I have another someone in the space who I'd love for you to meet them, meet as many people as you can, learn as much as you can, ask questions. And if ever a challenge seems too big, do what you do every day in your life is just take that first step. So if you have a huge presentation for the day, the first thing you're doing is you're getting out of bed and you're brushing your teeth. So if you want to start a company, great. The first thing you need to do is figure out what you want to offer. The next step, okay, now you're going downstairs, you're getting dressed. Great. The next step is, what do you want to name it? What do you want to call it? How are we going to create it? So there is a simple step that anyone can accomplish, even for the greatest dreams. You want to buy Twitter one day? Well, Elon started by getting out of bed. So, that might not be your dream. That's certainly not my dream. But whatever your dream is, take that first step. And wherever you stumble along the way, there is someone that has been there. There is someone that can help. And a lot of times there's some people that will help for free. So, don't underestimate the power of community and how good people really can be, and the fact that the world wants you to succeed, even if it seems like it doesn't sometimes.
Exactly. Don't give up. Just keep moving
Don't
forward.
give up. Exactly.
Oh, thank you, Madeline, for this opportunity, and I appreciate all the work you are doing. And I'm looking forward to see the nonprofit, to see the brand in the house, because I'll be the first to buy it. And I know that I have no doubt about it, because I know you're gonna make whatever you plan to do, you will make it happen, because you're just that type of person.
No, thank you so much, and I appreciate the chance to talk. I know I'm pretty long-winded, but I hope I provided some insight along the way.
Yes, you did. Absolutely. How we, as women, turn nothing into something unique is magnificent. Madeline's story on how she started Together She Can is impressive. And I love the idea because so many homeless people are suffering and need help. If you are looking for a PR and marketing expert, remember to reach out to someone like Madeline. Thank you, Madeline, for taking the time to have this conversation with me, and thank you for listening to this week's episode. Let me know your thoughts about this episode and the marketing strategy you use for your business. To learn more about Madeline and Together She Can, visit www.togethershecan.org. Thank you for listening to Female Founders Podcast. That's it for this week's episode. Be sure to follow us on your favorite podcast app or connect with us on WomELLE.com so that you don't miss our next episode. See you next time. Bye for now.